Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. Now that my two informative videos are done for the day, it's time to talk about current events in the online fitness community. And today we're going to talk again about none other than Mark Wahlberg, aka Marky Mark, who TMZ caught a couple days ago out on the street trying to interview him, talking to him about allegations of anabolic use. And he claimed he was Natty. So let me put on my +5 out of weaponsmithing, work on skilling on my crafting a little bit, and let's talk about this. You guys remember his behavior. He said, it was like all natural, all hard work, and was flexing his bicep, his little guns and everything. But that's the thing. That's the thing. You notice how much muscle he's lost since he did Pain and Gains? Is that what it was called? Pain and Gains, that Meathead bodybuilder movie? I didn't actually see it, but I've seen enough clips of it. That I have a real good idea. Now people can go, why didn't you watch that, Jason? Because I don't like bodybuilding. And I'm actually a fan of Dwayne Johnson. Which kind of brings another point up, doesn't it? Dwayne Johnson's a fake daddy. And I'm a fan. I like his movies. I catch most of his movies. I'm actually a fan. But he clearly, anybody who's been in the iron game, been around strength sports, everything as long as I have, I'm sorry, his muscularity is not obtainable as a very mild or casual user. That's someone who uses a pretty hefty amount of stuff. And that's just the requirement to be where he was in that movie. You can't be even a mild user and be there. Human biology does not allow for it. And I understand he's genetically gifted. It's besides the point. There are limits. But, he claims Natty for his own reasons. But that's the thing, Wahlberg is up here claiming Natty, all hard work. But, as someone who's been lifting many years, you don't make quick gains natural. You don't. That's reality. You don't put on 10 pounds of muscle in less than a year, ever, if you have several years of training under your belt. It's biologically impossible. Every coach who's worked with athletes will tell you the same thing. That requires drugs. That's reality. He bulked up for that movie, and he looked a little boofy on it still, so it looked like a little bit of wet compounds to keep him looking fuller. Without having him really cut down too lean at that point. They didn't want him too lean because he would have lost size, because he had to put on the weight pretty quick. So he looked a little boofy, and those who are familiar with that world know what I mean by boofy. That little bit of water retention in the face, fuller muscles that blur the definition a little bit because you're holding extra water. Certain substances do that. He had that boofy look. And again, it shouldn't be as any surprise. Hollywood actors are paid a fortune to look the part and make quick transformations. A fortune. There are guys out here who abuse anabolics who don't make a single penny doing it. People who are making millions of dollars to do a quick transformation, particularly in Hollywood where everyone uses drugs just for fun and recreation anyways. Come on, let's be realistic here. But, the thing is, the real kicker there isn't that. It's that Richard Rodriguez, with the whole WFN scandal, named him in an interview with John Bravo. And that interview's been everywhere. It's been on TMZ. It's been on ESPN. It's been everywhere. It's a big deal. And that's why TMZ kind of tracked him down and talked to him. And here's the thing. People are going to say, well, Richard was just saying that. You know what? Every single other person that Richard named, he eventually dropped proof. Now, this is a guy who's sitting in jail right now. He's facing sentencing for, running an underground lab and passing it off as legitimate and having $10 million in sales. But here's the thing. Look at all the other people who he associated with it, who they did produce proof. Mark Lobliner, who, I'm going to quit calling him Pocket Liner. Everyone calls him that. How about we call him Loblier? I think that's a good name. But it turned out that Mark basically, admitted, I did have contracts with them I'd received. So he more or less admitted the stuff was real, that he had received multiple shipments of substances, that he had a contract with them. Rashid, same thing. I mean, those two guys can't even deny it because they publicly endorsed the company, but then tried to deny it, just like all this had nothing to do with it. After we'd all seen the videos, we all had copies of the videos of them endorsing it. But then they were getting products and contracts. Same thing. Cali Muscle tried to deny it when he was accused. Now, he's a bigger figure than either one of them. He's got 1.5 million subscribers on YouTube. Cali Muscle, a.k.a. the Booty Warrior, tried to deny it. And then they produced all the stuff, even from jail. Richard was able to, through John Bravo, was able to produce the contracts, the shipping receipts, everything. Showing that, yeah, he did, in fact, receive products from them and had a contract with them. So given that all these other people have denied it, one of which is a relatively big name, and Richard actually had a good reason and explanation as to how he knew and had met and worked with Wahlberg. All right? It makes sense given that he was working with some celebrities at the time, and they had mutual connections. So, the thing is, he probably does have evidence that's going to be released. And that was the thing that got asked of Wahlberg there. Of, you know, are you going to seek legal things against this guy, defamation, whatever? He's like, no, I don't want to give him the publicity. Well, the reality is, I'm pretty sure Richard's in an anti-slap state. Which means you slap a defamation suit against someone in an anti-slap state. If they win, if they successfully defend it, they have to pay you. In other words, all he need to do is produce one contract, one shipping receipt with Wahlberg signing it, in one shred of evidence, and it's no longer defamation, is it? So Mark would be forced by the state of Florida, if it's an anti-slap state, I'm pretty sure it is, to pay Richard's legal fees and then be penalized and fined by the state. It could cost him $1 million, worst case scenario. And then he looks like an ass. Because what happens if you lose $1 million as a celebrity in a lawsuit? Everyone knows. And then it would become even more public. So, no, of course it wouldn't be in his best interest if it's true. But here's the thing. We don't know that it's true. I don't know that it's true. But up to this point, every person who Richard has accused of being involved with this, because he's basically said he's mad that people didn't help him out when he got arrested. All these people he gave products to, gave money to, help people. None of these people helped him. They all turned his back on him when he got arrested. He didn't like it. Every single one of them who denied it, he produced proof to show that, oh, you were involved. So he's batting 10 out of 10 right now. Do you guys see where I'm going with this? Given that he's been consistently able to do this each time, it's not unreasonable to assume that he's probably got proof here too. In other words, he didn't accuse anybody who he couldn't later prove it. Going off that old track record, we can probably reasonably expect this pattern to continue. Unless it doesn't, but thus far, it's been pretty consistent. So that being said, Mark Wahlberg, a fake Natty? Very possibly so. Very possibly so. I guess we'll wait and see what evidence gets produced. In the meantime, it's interesting. And it's amusing because you guys know I love to call out fake natties. But it's always the way guys who are fake natties, you notice how they always respond? It's never, what? No. It's never a look of shock. Like a person who's legitimately natty when they get caught on that stuff, it's always a what? Are you serious? The guys who always turn out to be the real fake natties either get offended or they get over the top with it. All hard work. Like Michael Hearn always does. So I got a story on him coming up later this week too. We'll jump back in on Michael Hearn. He's pulling some nonsense again with another YouTube channel. We'll cover that later this week. You guys stay tuned for that. All right, guys. Well, that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.